Are you confused about writing? Do you not know where to start or even how to finish? Do you love writing so much that it burns deep in your soul, but you still don't know how to meet your goals? Are you looking for a little inspiration that will take you on a writer's vacation? Then let us all write together. Let us all write our way. Hello everyone, welcome to Write Our Way. I'm your host Patrick Starks, and today we're going to talk about the desire to get better at writing. It's been a while since I spoke with you all, and I really felt that this would be a great topic to talk about for those of us that tend to go off road of our journey sometimes. But before we go deep into that, if you guys all love what you're hearing from the Write Our Way podcast, if you could please click the follow button on Spotify, Apple, or whatever platform you're using to continue listening to the podcast. This is so that you can be notified of any new episodes when they launch, more so that we can all continue to grow together as not just writers, but better versions of ourselves. Other than that, let's dive right into it, shall we? So first, I just wanted to go back to what I mentioned about some of us going off-road. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing to do. It really depends on what you went off-road of your journey for. For example, me being away from the podcast for a few weeks, 2 weeks, I had to drop what I was doing and focus on getting my black belt in Taekwondo. And through hard work and perseverance, I'm happy to tell you all that I accomplished it. I got my black belt. Both my dad and my brother had their black belts in Taekwondo, and I would have too when I was younger, but due to, some family issues that happened with finances and whatnot, we weren't able to get me all the way through. And that happens, life happens. We've all talked about this before. And so, now I'm an adult now, and so I can take care of those finances myself. And so I decided to go back last summer and really work hard, get my flexibility back, train hard, and get my black belt. Because when I left the dojang, I was only a junior black belt, which is like a red belt with a black stripe going through the middle. Some people do the belt where it's like half black, half red, but that's a junior black belt. And junior black belt is like the last step before you become a black belt. So to keep this short and sweet, you could say I had some unfinished business, and I went back and finished it. However, I'd be a fool to say that I'm finished. The journey is never finished, and I'm just going through the first step. This journey, this off-road excursion, has taken me on a whole new plateau where I've had my eyes open more towards what I want to really do with my writing and what I want to teach about writing. I feel so much more enlightened on what life really means to me and what I want to do with my writing. My desire to write not only got heightened, but my desire to learn got heightened as well. I'm just so much more curious. I want to learn more. I want to grow more and become the best version of myself I can be, the best writer I can be. Because going off road and going back to Taekwondo and getting my black belt showed me that I wasn't done. There's sky's the limit, that saying. Or I would even go by saying that the sky isn't the limit. You can go so much more further than the sky itself. There is so many levels that we can reach that we don't realize. Sometimes we think we're just done, and that's not the case. We're never done. The human body, the human mind, the human spirit is so beautiful, and when you really try your hardest, really open up your curiosity to the world, you will be surprised on how much you do and how much you accomplish in life. And I think it's so disheartening when people let that slip and let it go past them. They just give up because they just don't know. We all have gifts. We're all gifted in something. It might not be writing, it might be something else, but you're good at something and you just got to capitalize on it. Don't run from it. I've said it many times in the podcast before that in order to be a strong writer, then one's mind must be clear. And so in order to do this, we can't leave any stones unturned in our lives. It's like with our writing, right? Don't leave any open-ended chapters, Close them out good. It's the same thing with life. Don't leave so many chapters in the story of your life open-ended, close them. And again, like I said, Taekwondo for me is just one of those chapters in my childhood, my life that I need it to close. So now that it's closed, it's like, what's the next chapter? What's the next step? What did I learn from this chapter that's going to take me into the next chapter? I mean, look at the hero's journey when we talk about in our stories, right? The hero is never the same as he was in the beginning. The hero prevails, they excel, and they level up. And about time they get to that very last chapter, they are a better version of themselves, a more advanced version of themselves, a version of themselves they never thought they could be, or anybody else in the story thought they could be. But when we speak about desire, right, it all came with that desire for them to push towards their goal. Yet, in the same breath, when we take these off-road journeys, we can't forget about the main quest, right? The main mission at hand, the main mission that's called to us from the very get-go. And you see, although I was on the side quest of getting my black belt, I still hadn't forgot about my main mission, and that was to become a great writer, to become this writer that helps other writers become great in their own fashion. And that's just it, right? It's like a video game. You know, when we have our characters go through these side quests, they still have the main mission. But isn't it funny how when they go on their side quests, they level up, they pick up some new skills and traits that aid them into accomplishing the main mission at hand. And that's kind of how life is. Life, we're going to go on these off-road journeys, these side quests, in order to pick up some skills that will better us and make us more successful for our mission ahead of us, the main mission ahead of us. Because I know a lot of people out there would say you want to stay focused, you want to make a beeline straight to the mission. You don't want to go off road, you don't want to get distracted. And we have to keep in mind these side quests aren't distractions. It depends on what it is. Again, now if you're going partying or you're going on a bunch of vacations and stuff like that, yeah, maybe those are distractions. But I'm talking about legitimate stuff that betters your mindset, betters you physically, your health, everything. These are not distractions. These are things that benefit you greatly and that will benefit you towards reaching the goals you want to reach. They'll make you more awake. They'll make you see more clearly of where you want to go in life. You won't feel as tired. You'll feel that desire to keep pushing forward. And you'll also feel excited in a sense to reach the goal you want to reach. You won't be like, oh, I'm doing this again and I guess I'll try and get to the goal eventually. No, you're going to be absolutely excited. You can't wait to wake up every morning to get at it because you picked up these skills now that have given you an idea of how to tackle it on, so it doesn't seem as difficult as it did in the beginning. But you got to take the side quests, and I can't tell you what those side quests are. You have to kind of do some soul searching. You have to do some digging and really think about what chapters in your life that aren't closed. And so for some of us, it might be pretty deep. It might be emotional, but I promise you, if you go about closing them out, then you'll be much more better off towards your mission at hand than what you were not closing them off. Because, it's like that saying, never look back at the past. And that's what it is. Like, those side quests can sometimes be our past, and we don't want to keep looking back at the past. We want to let it go, like Frozen. And man, that song is always stuck in people's heads forever. But let me continue. But yeah, just keep in mind these side quests are there to benefit you. They're not distractions, and they will make you more focused, if anything, to get to where you need to get. But let's go back. Let's talk about this desire of getting better as a writer. A lot of this now comes with growth, but it's interesting to me that, for a lot of people, this growth is scary. A lot of people are afraid to grow. And the question is, why are we so afraid to grow as human beings? And honestly, there's multiple answers to that question. It took me a while to understand this because out of all my years, I've never really found anything negative out of growth. I've always found positive out of growth. You can go from getting a better job, you can go from bettering your finances, getting in a better place like a house, getting a better car, anything you desire. Like with growth, you have more options. When you don't grow, you have very little options. But I think the main reason why people are afraid to grow is because of their circle, the circle they're in, right? The circle of people they're in. Because a lot of people aren't subject to change. Like, they don't like change. And whenever a certain person in their group grows and starts to better themselves, it's almost like they have this, well, I'm not going to say almost, there is this insecurity that they feel, and they kind of behave differently towards that person when they start growing. And for the people that are afraid to grow, they fear that because they don't want to lose those friendships. They don't want to lose those people. And, I'm going to go ahead and say it. The honest truth is, if those people were really there for you, if they really liked who you were wholeheartedly, then they'd stay by your side regardless how you change, especially if you're changing for the better. I mean, come on. You're changing for the worse. You started getting on drugs and stuff. I could see them being like, what the hell? But when you're growing in a positive way, it bothers me as a human being that people would act in such a way, But we live in a competitive world, and I've been told this by my brother and other knowledgeable people that a lot of times when you grow, you make people feel like they got to step their game up, and it becomes like this, oh, you think you're better than me thing, and it becomes this competition instead of this support system. Any person in your group, I'm going to tell you right now, should be your support system, and you should be a support system for them. If they're feeling like it's a competition, then they were your foe from the beginning. They were never the friend. They were the foe in disguise as the friend. Keep your enemies closer, as they say. So that so-called friend of yours or whoever was keeping you close because you were their enemy from day one. Because, again, they should be supporting you, not making it a competition or feeling insecure about it. People who feel insecure, they see that as a competition. So I think just going back to this desire again, I think a lot of it stems from the people you're around too. You need that support system to grow. And that's what I found through Taekwondo. I met a lot of great people. I gained a lot of great friendships, and it's almost like another family. Everyone's so supporting of one another, and everyone wants to see everyone grow and become black belts. And I can't wait to see the other people below me become black belts as well. I support them too. And it's when it becomes this support system for everyone, it really does push the desire to be something. And I'm not saying that you need people to hold your hand every step of the way, but it is good to have people in your circle who you can get knowledge from whenever you're feeling a little lost. And so I would say right off the bat, like, if you're afraid to grow because of this, don't be afraid. Again, take the side quests, learn more, and better yourself for your main mission, and put yourself in a circle of people that support you. Don't feel like you can't grow because of them. They don't hold the keys to your growth. You hold the keys to your growth. It's ridiculous. Don't let them hold it. If you want to grow, if you want to excel, you want to level up, in Dragon Ball Z, you want to become a Super Saiyan, you see anybody holding Goku back, or Goku letting anybody hold him back, he leveled up however many times he wanted to because that was what he wanted to achieve. Did his wife like it? No, she hated it. He's always out, away from the family, but that was something he was passionate about. That was something that he desired. And through that desire, though, I think that's what's being underlooked, is that his desire, he was able to help out so many other people. His desire was not only to get better, but his desire was to get better at what he does so he could help others be better and have the lives they want to have and be at peace. Because I know a lot of people sometimes look at this as selfish, but it's not selfish at all, because if you look at most of the people who tackle on these missions, what do the first time they accomplish their mission? They give back, right? They pay it forward. And that's exactly the goal, is to pay it forward. You give back what you've received. That's the way I see it. I better my writing so that in the hopes that I can help other writers become better. and, almost create this shortcut of creating great stories. We skip all the build up, right? And we get to the facts of what it really takes to be a writer. I've always talked about the reading. I've always talked about, studying dialogue. I've talked about the hero's journey, the morals to the story, connecting with your audience, having a character or story that is emotionally tied to our audience, that they have a story that's relatable to the audience's stories in their lives. It's all facts. It's how we, as human beings, connect to stories every day. It's relatable. But in order to utilize these lessons that I've been giving, you gotta pull out that desire to want to learn and want to understand how well these methods actually work. If there's any pinpoint tip that I can give you as far as keeping that desire as a writer, holding on to it with your bare hands tightly gripped, I would say, you have to figure out what it's all for. Why are you doing it? The why question. The why question is the biggest thing you're gonna have to ask yourself as a writer. When you accomplish this goal, how are you gonna feel? And what are you gonna do with those accomplishments? Are you gonna pay it forward, or are you gonna hoard it? Is this all about you, or is this so much bigger than you? Because the world, I hate to tell you guys, is much bigger than you. The world is a very big place, and so much out of our scope that we're still learning, far beyond the earth. So really think carefully, because I got caught in that trap too about, being this best-selling author and being this big-time author and la-da-da-da-da. And it's like, yeah, you can accomplish that, but what happens to people when they accomplish those goals, right? They get them and then they're like empty void, right? Because there is no true passion or desire for wanting to do more with it. There's just one single-minded goal. Most importantly, you have to kind of ask yourself what happens if you don't get it. Now, it's not to put any negative juju out there. I don't want you manifesting any negative things that you don't want in your life. We're all about manifesting positivity here, positive outlooks. However, we also have to think about when things in our life don't go right. How are you going to react to it? For me personally, I'll go ahead and say it. If I don't become a best-selling author, this big, well-named author, that's okay, because the work that I've been doing with writing and the content that I've been creating with it has been the reward itself. I never saw myself as a writer as a kid growing up. I was never into books. I know my mom was deeply into it, and I think as I got older, I started to understand what she saw in it and how beautiful it really was. And my dad was a big reader too, so it was always in my blood. It just didn't click. And for me, it's so much more than being a best-selling author. It's like a family thing. It's deeper. It's something that's been passed on from generation to generation. It's this education of writing and reading, in my family. So I think having done what I've done with it has been a reward itself. And speaking with you guys and starting a podcast about writing and speaking with you all about how we can grow as writers, it's been a real treat, guys. It really has. And I couldn't be any more thankful to just be able to do this. I mean, again, this can be for anything. This doesn't have to be writing. This could be anything you want to do, from like graphic design or playing music or being an actor. This is like truly something that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Just not the desire to write, but just desire in general. And what happens when we go on these side quests is so beautiful, because we learn just how much we were missing in our lives, just the pieces that were missing to elevate our motivation to just try, to just do something. And I think a lot of people miss that. A lot of people don't take side quests because of fear of losing something, like I said, like the group, the circle they're in or whatnot, and they stay kind of just in one lane. And every time they reach the end of that lane, they get their butts kicked because they didn't take any side quests to learn anything new or any ways to improve themselves. And so they hit themselves in the head every day trying to figure out, why is my life such shit right now? Why am I not going anywhere with my life? And that's I think that's the takeaway from this episode. It's like, don't be afraid to go on these side quests. Again, they're not distractions. They can greatly benefit you in so many ways. And I can't tell you what those side quests are. You just have to be very particular about the kind of side quests you take. Again, this isn't like going out with friends and partying and all this other crap. I mean, like serious stuff. Like, you want to get into yoga and increase your flexibility, take it. Maybe getting more flexible, your body getting more flexible. You might feel a little bit more looser to get up and walk around early in the morning, and get to work right away. There's so many benefits to taking these side quests. So don't run away from them, guys. Don't. I've met too many great people in my life that had so much potential, and they still, to this day, I see a lot of them, they still have that potential, but they just don't want to move. They just want to stay still. And it's disheartening to see that. And I don't want that with you guys. I want you guys to absolutely keep pushing forward as writers. I don't know if you guys have a support system or not, but you sure as hell got my support. So, feel free to reach out to me through my website, patstarks.com or paycark.com. And if you want to reach out to me personally, you can go to starks15@gmail.com. That's STARKS Patrick15@gmail.com. And I will gladly, give you some tips or talk with you personally about like what you can do to better your writing. So don't be shy. But you guys know it. I always love talking with you guys. It's always a treat. It's good being back, especially after that black belt testing. Whew. That was rough, but it feels good. Like, I took a few classes already as a black belt, and there's a lot more to learn. So I'm excited to learn more about that and what else it can do to benefit me as a person and my writing as well. And I hope the same for you guys for whatever side quests you find. You guys know it. Become a child again. Imagine, my friends. And I'll see you again soon. All right. Take care, guys.